Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because we are joined by the one, the only Morgan Wright.
Hi, thank you for having me.
And I should say from Morgan's Pop Talks, a great podcast. How is from one podcaster to another? How is it going?
I love it. I really do. It's so fun. I never thought that it would grow into what it is, but if you ask me what my dream job would be, I'm living it. So no complaints.
That's how I feel. I totally get it. Well, you were just in my neck of the woods. I'm in the Hamptons for the summer, doing a deep dive into your Instagram. You were here, you came to New York and went to the Hamptons, and you went to Carl's soft bar launch. I That was the summer house, I think. I couldn't remember look at the pictures. I think you were at the summer house, right?
It actually wasn't, but a lot of people thought so. And I'm thinking maybe a lot of the houses just look similar. But that house was actually in New Jersey. So we weren't anywhere
Interesting.
close to where people thought we were, but it did look very similar.
I kept looking at it and I'm like, is this because the summer house has changed over the years? It's in Sag
Mhm.
Harbor this year, but it's not. So, but were they filming for Summer House? Because I saw people there,
Yeah,
like the
I believe
cast.
so. Yeah,
I
they
think
were.
so. So, how was that? Like, how was it? Was Lindsay there? I don't think she was, right? Or was
No,
she?
Lindsay was
Okay.
not there. Lindsay was not there. It was a soft launch for Carl Redke's Soft Bar and Cafe. Gabby was there, West, Jesse, Sierra, Paige, Carl, obviously. Some new people were there, some fresh faces, but it was really cool. Over the past couple of years, I would say, you have these surface level relationships with these Bravo celebrities. But my husband is 5 years sober, and Carl always remembered that about David and I. And we were actually the first people to try the Loverboy non-alc because it was coming out during the time of BravoCon, and we had discussed, sobriety in the DMs before. And so we ran into Carl at BravoCon, and he was like, "David, I brought this for you," and he pulled out a can of the NA Loverboy to let David try it first. So that always just sticks out to me as a very memorable moment, a bonding moment between us. And I think there were a lot. I'm not like sober. I don't drink a lot, but I wouldn't consider myself, that level of sober. But there were a lot of sober influencers there. So I feel like he remembered that about my husband. And then obviously he knows everything that I do. And so I was able to snag an invite.
That's good. Yeah, I have a friend. I've told this story before. Because I also live in LA, and she's older, but she literally brings her own wine when we go out to dinner. And now I don't support this. I do get embarrassed, but she does manage to take the wine from under the table and pour it into a glass because she's like, there's just no option here. She's like, I don't
Yeah.
want a beer. I don't want a mocktail. I want non-alcoholic wine. So I feel
Yeah.
there is a need for places like this in really everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. I think when you go out and you're the only one not drinking, it's already a bit of an isolating experience, but then you also want to enjoy, the food and the drinks, and they don't have any options for you. And it's even more so in isolation. So, I feel like anytime a Bravo celebrity does anything, it's automatically met with a lot of negativity, a lot of criticism. And from a business standpoint, I do understand, it's a new concept. We really don't know how successful it's going to be, especially in Brooklyn. I'm sure it takes a lot of money to run a cafe in Brooklyn. But, I commend Carl for trying. And there are people out there that will go to it. I mean, people still go to Schwartz and Sandy's. And like, I mean, who would want to go there? And so I feel like just having that kind of celebrity status is going to draw people in anyways.
It's a good start. I've been to Schwartz and Sandy's once. I liked it when I went. Now I have not been back, but I prefer it over some of the other Vanderpump establishments currently.
I
But
would
it
still
is
go, honestly. Like if I was there, you have to experience it at least once.
It has like a bit of a vibe. Like to me, Sir is just, it's had its moment for anyone who's been there. It's not the place to go, really. It's a little run down. And then apparently Tom Tom is being rebranded as Pump, and I mean, there's all that, but that whole area is just so touristy. So, but
Oh,
maybe
really?
Pump will be okay there. What do you think of like Lindsay, like being in the summer house, like she's pregnant, she's filming, she's showing it all? Should she sit this season out? Do you think it's too soon for her to now? I mean, like Kyle predicted this and said, I bet you, or Carl, I bet you she'll have like a baby and be pregnant. I think Carl predicted it, but it is really all happening. Like, do you think it's too soon?
No, I mean, I think Lindsay is Lindsay, and I feel like she has showed a lot of her life the past however many years, 9, 10 years. So I feel like it's only natural for her to continue to film while she's pregnant. My thought process with this is I think this might be her last season. I mean, how do you continue to go to the Hamptons when you have a baby at home? So we've always seen her timeline, right, of all the things that she wanted. I think it's a positive thing that this is happening for her. I also want to see her castmates' reactions to it because I'm sure that they are just shocked. And, I saw on her Instagram story earlier this week, she said she's hormonal and everything is activating her at the moment. So maybe we'll get a lot of activated Lindsay in the next season.
I can't imagine her there after she has a child either, but I can't imagine Summer House without her. Like, Summer House is like where all these other shows are kind of having their moment if they don't know where to go. And like, there is something to be said about like a slow burn because the
Mhm.
ratings weren't great the first season or this, it really has built into like the show that could, whereas all these other fast out of the gate shows now, like they're all at like kind of a standstill and crossroads.
Yeah, it's interesting, I think, when you look at it in comparison to Vanderpump Rules, right? Where the premise of the show starts with them working at SUR or with them partying in the Hamptons. But I think something that Bravo has had to navigate is the definition of the shows. Is Vanderpump Rules about a group that works at SUR, or is it about this core cast and how they move forward with their life once that season is over? And I think they're going to also have to cross that bridge with Summer House. Is it about, a group of 30 somethings partying in the Hamptons, or is it about this specific core friend group? I think, the lessons that they learned with Vanderpump Rules will help them make that decision because we had this weird season where there were like some newbies that still worked at SUR, but others weren't. But Lindsay's not the first cast member of Summer House that's going to have a child, and so I think they just need to figure out kind of what lane they're going to want to go in with the show.
Yeah, and learn from Vanderpump Rules. And I mean, I don't know, because right, like you do have Kyle is in his 40s, and I mean, everyone is understandably like moving on in life. And yes, some of the people that are older do party in the Hamptons, even though they're in their 40s, but it is a whole different show. I totally agree. What did you think? Recently we have ended the season of New Jersey. Everyone has had an opinion. I have talked about this ad nauseum. We had the alternate reunion. Louie has now apologized to Margaret. And then we had this podcast where he said all this stuff about Teresa's daughters. And people are very divided. The TreHuggers say, oh, everything was taken out of context. And where are you with this mess of a season of New Jersey? Did you think it was as much of a mess as I thought it was? Or there are random people I've spoken to that said, oh, I really like this season.